Hello and welcome to Dark Souls, a deep dive into the dark. I'm Dustin and this is Lions Maw Gaming. Today, we are rocking a build of the Two-Handed Zwinder, along with a reinforced Club 5 as an offhand, a Hollow Soldier shield, and the Hollow Soldier armor set with leather gauntlets to fill in the empty slot. Now, we did not fight the gargoyles at the end of last episode, and for those of you that were excited for that, we're not doing that today either. Those of you that will remember, we got a Firekeeper soul at the end of last episode from behind the Burke Knight. We're going to be turning that in and discussing some other stuff about that. We also freed a man Lautrec from the top of the cathedral. So we will be finding him if we can. And as you can see, this is kind of the beauty of the Zwinder. It has such incredible reach, deals a massive amount of damage. Granted, this is at +5, but it does need to be wielded in two hands for my character's stats. For those of you that don't know, I have 16 strength, 15 dexterity, 14 endurance, and 11 across the board otherwise. The Zweihander requires a strength of 24 to wield. But there's a mechanic of two-handing in this game, and when you two-hand a weapon, you get 1.5, you have an effective strength of 1.5 times what it actually shows. Also, apologies for not showing it off. That is an elevator that leads us back down. They were both halves of it were at the top, and we triggered it, bringing us back to Firelink Shrine. So we now have a shortcut, and with bringing that one down, we left the other one up top, so it seems that they'll trade places now as we progress forward. You'll notice that my equip weight is much over 50%, so you'll see that I fat roll now, which is mainly the reason that I want a heavy block shield. Also another reason I want the club, so that I can, if I get into a tight corner, and I can't just swing wildly with the Zwinder, I want to have a weapon that I'll be able to poke around from behind the shield with. So that's the current plan. But now that we are back in Firelink, we can head down to the Firekeeper. Oh, and there's Lautrec.
Ah, hello there. I have your reward. Please, accept it. I am grateful to you for freeing me. Not enough for you? Well, let's not be greedy now.
So, Lautrec is here, and as you can see, he's kind of ominous, but he gives us a sunlight medal. This faintly warm medal, engraved with the symbol of the sun, is an ultimate honor, awarded to those who summon the Warrior of Sunlight and complete a goal. The symbol represents Lord Gwyn's firstborn, who lost his deity status and was expunged from the annals, but the old god of war still watches closely over his warriors. So there's another mention of the son's of Gwyn's firstborn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble speaking today. But that's another example of, or I guess the first introduction truly in the game of Gwyn's firstborn and him being a god of war. Now we have Anastasia. And as you can see, we can reinforce our Estus Flask. And you'll see now that on the bottom of the screen, our Estus Flask reads Estus Flask +1. It'll now heal more HP. In regards to Lautrec, if you do not care about his storyline, and you cherish Firelink Shrine, I advise you kill him now. 2 ways to do it. You can fight him normally, or if you actually kick him twice from here, he will fall off the ledge. I will not be doing that. He will grant you what is almost undisputedly the best ring in the game. The Ring of Divine Favor and Protection. So it's very good, but I will not be killing him. But it is advised that you do so if you are not concerned about his storyline and want that ring. Now, in regards to the Firekeepers, you notice that it stated that, I believe the Estus flasks, yes. An emerald flask from the Keeper's soul. She lives to protect the flame and dies to protect it further. So in life, Firekeepers protect flames, specifically bonfires. And in death, they help to make and reinforce Estus flasks. So that's what we just did. We gave that Firekeeper another Firekeeper's soul from long ago and strengthened our Estus flask. The way that I see it is that it's better able to either... Because Estus is flame. It is flame in drink form. And you heal yourself by drinking it. If you look really closely at the icon itself, you can tell that it's a bottle of flame. So my idea is that the Firekeeper soul helps to insulate and further encapsulate the heat, which is why it heals more. See what Petrus has to say.
Oh, hello. I will teach you miracles. A promise is a promise, after all.
I'm afraid I don't have enough money for that right now, man.
Come again.
Enough souls, I guess.
The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon you.
Oop, got stuck on the stairs. So we'll be getting into some faith and sorcery soon. But for now, we'll head back up. So as you can see, this elevator has always been here. If you recall, this is a shaft that we dropped down from Firelink to find Petrus's secret stash of all the cleric items. So this shortcut has always been here. We just never noticed it till now. But I wanted to show that off. I killed you. As you can see, you can block with a weapon, but it does not block nearly as much. I'll show off the difference between not having enough strength to wield a weapon. So you see now that a normal swing from the Zweihander deals a ton of damage. But here's how this swing looks when you don't have enough strength, and you can see that it only deals 4 damage. You just do not have the capability to wield the weapon properly. But with enough strength, you can. But we are going to be heading a different direction, because we could approach the Bell of Awakening. But I have other things I'd like to do first. As we descend back down towards Andre, we will rest back up at the bonfire. And observant folks will have noticed that Firelink Shrine has always been kindled. We kindled this bonfire last episode, but Firelink Shrine has been kindled since we arrived. So, maybe someone else kindled it for us beforehand. I had given a slight sneak peek in regards to this enemy down here. And this is the direction we are going to be heading for now. So, this is known as a Titanite Demon. And if you look closely... Oh, I got too close, got too close, got too close. Alright, buddy, I need you to not shoot at me. Stop it. One moment. Let's let him calm down. Trying to give you a good look at him with the binoculars before I fight him. I don't think I'll be able to see him from here. Nope. But I guess I can give you some cutaway angle looks. If you look distinctly, he has no face. He has no head. And as we approach, I want you to look at his legs. You'll notice that one of them is completely missing. He has a long tail straying out from back. And he wields what is called a Titanite catapult. It is a droppable weapon, and they are pretty cool. But these demons are made of demon Titanite. And Titanite, as you know now, is the material that we use to upgrade our weapons. Weapons are infused with it. You can see now that he's imbued with lightning, and he's shooting lightning at us. But if we are careful, we can avoid his shenanigans. And if you look here, you can see his leg. Or lack thereof, I guess. And this is actually probably your best spot to try to stand when you're fighting them. Until he does that attack. You gotta watch out for that one. As you can see, he has some pretty incredible range. This is definitely a mini-boss. But with enough patience and proper movement, you can take care of them. And as you can see, the Zweihander takes an absolute ton of stamina to swing. And I got really lucky with that swing. I managed to catch him as he was coming down to hit me. Just due to the massive reach of the Zweihander. As you can see, he dropped an item. And he was worth 2,000 souls, if you did not notice. He's worth a lot. And that item that he dropped was the Demon Titanite, which is actually the writing on his face. Special Titanite stolen from a faceless stone beast known as a Titanite demon. When the nameless blacksmith deity passed from several slabs, great beasts arose. The power of Titanite remains within them, and they still roam Lordran today. So all Titanite comes from a slab, from the legendary slabs. And Titanite shards are small pieces of it, Titanite chunks are very large pieces of it, and then slabs themselves are the original pieces. There's in-between states as well, but Demon Titanite seems to be somewhat separate. It's not carved from a slab, instead they rose from it, bringing the Titanite piece with them. But as you look around this room before I leave, you can see that all the pillars have been broken. It's just a big pile of rubble. Supports are gone. You have to kind of wonder what this room was originally for. Almost seems like it used to be a great walkway between the Undead Parish and another area. And with these pillars, you can kind of tell this may have been another civilization. Or perhaps a large garden. But regardless, we push on into the wilderness. If you look carefully, you can see movement ahead of me. This is known as an Ent, but I've always called them either tree guys or bush boys, and that is with the BOI. They're interesting. They have very long arms. Their arms kind of stretch out like vines and can whack you from really far away. They drop the blood red moss clump, which I believe is somewhere down here. I was wrong, it's much closer to the top. Medicinal red moss clump. Reduces bleeding buildup. Bleeding builds up when attacked by sharp blades or spikes, and once triggered causes severe damage. Use this moss clump before it reaches this point. So that's interesting. Has some medicinal effects. And we find ourselves in Darkroot Garden. Now there is a path to our right. We're going to be heading straight first. Here, I'll give you a sense for the reach of their swings. They can hit really far away. We got another drop, another blood red moss clump. As you look around us, there is clear signs of civilization still deep in this forest. If you look up above us, see what appears to be a giant moth? Or perhaps a butterfly. Just sitting perched this tower. And below us, a sheer cliff for quite some distance. To our left, across that chasm, is another item. And here, another tree. Oh, and there was one hidden. As you can see, these guys actually hide themselves within the ground, and I'm going to be getting drops from these guys regularly. We got a purple moss clump. Oh, come on, give me the item. And another purple moss clump. So, purple moss clump. Medicinal purple moss clump. Reduces poison buildup. Cures poison. Poison buildup in the body Poison builds up in the body, and when it breaks out, it causes gradual damage over a period of time. Poison can be exasperated, so being certain to carry the needed quantity of the moss clumps when destined for an afflicted area. So be certain to carry them. I'm sorry, I can't read today either. It's been a struggle. But as we approach, it's an item behind this rock. A large soul of a nameless soldier. Strange glowing door. And if you approach over here, you can see that there's a bonfire over there. But we can't walk around this corner. We'll get shoved off. We have this glowing door. It's locked by some contraption. Which is strange, because as we try to get around it, we find that our path is blocked on either side. There's a path down here, but it does not seem to lead the same way. But if we look, we notice that this seems like it used to be a doorway. So if we strike it, it's an illusory wall. We find a bonfire. We'll head further into the forest. Now having found a new place to rest. And we seem to constantly be descending. And there's an item in here. But careful consideration will notice these guys. And they can be dealt with before you pick up the item. Because otherwise, this is an ambush. Got another large soul of a nameless soldier. And a fog wall. Find ourselves in a large forested area. And if you look very closely, this tree is moving. And there appears to be a path behind it. And you know the logic, if something moves, hit it. You find that it has a health bar. And you can kill it. By doing so, the path clears. Have no fear, we will return to that large area we just entered. But as we enter here, we find a strange reptilian. Or amphibian, it's hard to tell. They have a large frill. And they have an item that I can't seem to get because of ragdolls. There we go. We got green blossoms. Greenweed, shaped like flower. Temporary boost to stamina recovery speed. This uniquely bitter, biting herb is sometimes harvested in large quantities, but normally it is an annual plant found near water. So these creatures seem to gather these herbs, whether it be in the form of just eating them or carrying them on them in some way. But as you look, you can see there's another moving tree. Barring our path yet again. Well, somewhat, but we could pass by. Or alternatively, we could deal with the tree. You can see there's a path here. But close observation, we'll notice what appears to be a dead knight. A large one at that. And then they begin to stand up. They appear to have cast a some kind of spell on us. And I've opted for the reinforced club in this situation due to the speed of its attacks. Do not worry, that will not be the last knight we will be seeing. But looking down below us, you notice a massive lake. With no real way down. Find a soul of a proud knight. Soul of a proud undead knight who has long ago gone hollow. Used to acquire many souls. Souls are the source of all life, and whether undead or even hollow, one continues to seek them. As you look at these knights, you notice that they appear to be completely covered in moss, as though they've been here for a very long time. And you'll notice they were completely unflinching to our attacks. So we proceed up, climbing up this, what appears to be a natural cave. And yet another knight stands up. And he tries to cast that enchantment on us again. We can't allow that. Find ourselves with a corpse. With a ring. The wolf ring. One of the special rings granted to the 4 Knights of Gwyn. The wolf ring belongs to Artorias the Abyss Walker. Artorias had an unbending will of steel and was unmatched with a greatsword. So the 4 Knights of Gwyn. And you can see that this ring boosts poise. So my current poise right now in this armor set is 29. But if I put this ring on, it jumps to 69. So it gives us a massive 40 poise boost. And I'm not wearing necessarily light armor. This armor is relatively heavy. So this ring granting us 40 poise is a big difference. We'll be unflinching to a lot of attacks. But this actually concludes this section of the area. It's a little offshoot. You are able to jump from that area. The area that you saw ahead of us was that the area we entered in. And that was the item we saw up on the cliff. So you can jump down, but I would rather not. We find ourselves back in this large room, and we see yet another knight. It seems as though they get brought back to life by our presence. And you can see that the enchantment they put on us is dispersed when they're defeated. I'll let the cat out of the bag. That spell is one that reduces our movement speed and makes it so that we are not able to roll. And if you listen, you heard someone pop up behind us. You'll notice that the Zweihander is far more effective for dealing with these guys. We can see an item, but an astute player notices these snakes. This twin-headed snake gecko. This is the best name that I can give for it. And it is sitting there lying in wait for us. Joke's on it, we aren't blind. Find a partisan. spear with a blade attached to a broad point. It boasts long reach and can slice. The wide range of the spear makes it adaptable to many situations. Its strength lies in its length, but in cramped quarters, this backfires and slices ricochet off walls. So you can see that this spear is different from most other spears, that it has slicing damage as well. You can see the knight that we just defeated. We notice more clumps of moss guys. Thanks, Winder doesn't swing down. And I didn't want to jump attack. I'm struggling. There we go, that's the move I wanted. And we can defeat these guys. And you notice there's 2 knights right there, too. So we're very careful not to disturb them. We should be able to defeat the moss guys surrounding them before they awake. They swing their mighty swords. And we bludgeon them. And yet another stone knight will awaken him. And they all seem to be guarding this item behind me. We take them down. We get the Elite Knight set. Helm of a Nameless Knight, perhaps an elite knight of Astora. Although he was loath to give up on his undead mission, he perished at the undead asylum and went hollow. Armor of a Nameless Knight, perhaps an elite knight of Astora, based on the fire-warding heraldic emblem on its blue surcoat. Although he was loath to give up on his undead mission, he perished at the undead asylum and went hollow. Gauntlets of a Nameless Knight, perhaps an elite knight of Astora. And then you have the same description. And the same description again. So that's the armor of the knight that saved us. That set us free. There's something of interest. We notice another stone knight over here. And as you can see, if you approach them from behind, they're inclined to cast that spell, which should give you plenty of time to dispatch them before they get a chance to attack you. And looking here, we see yet another snake person. So we'll dispatch them easily. And we find ourselves a tower. And another stone knight standing in our way. And that is an example of poise. You'll see as though he hit me, I still was able to swing through his attacks. And you'll see now that the blue tearstone ring has triggered because my health is so low. But the effect of that goes away after I heal. There's a summon sign here. The Witch Beatrice. Let's summon them. It appears they're here to help us. We climb these stairs. We see off in the distance the butterfly. Yet again. And another fog wall. Let's step through the fog. This is the Moonlit Butterfly. Or Moonlight Butterfly, I'm sorry. And you'll see that Beatrice possesses sorcery. And seems to be intent on doing a ton of damage for us. You'll see that the Moonlight Butterfly deals exclusively magic damage. So even blocking these attacks deals a large number of damage to me. Hopefully Beatrice doesn't kill it before it lands. Unfortunate. The Moonlit Butterfly has a couple of additional attacks. It will fly over top and drop what is basically a soul bomb, or a magic bomb, into the middle of the bridge, dealing a ton of damage. It also has a large laser beam it'll cross the bridge with. The best advice I have for dealing with that is to bring a ranged weapon. So if you were to bring a bow, you could deal with it relatively quickly. Or have a shield with high magic block, and then wait out. It will land on the edge of the bridge, feeding on the moss, and you can strike it down. But we got the soul of the Moonlit Butterfly, and humanity for having her with us. Soul of the mystical Moonlight Butterfly, which flitters in the Darkroot Garden. Special beings have special souls. The butterfly's soul is a creation of Seath the Scaleless, used to acquire a huge amount of souls or to create a unique weapon. So you notice this soul is golden. It is unique. We will be holding on to it for a while. And you'll notice that it said it was created by Seath the Scaleless. So the dragon from the intro. The one that betrayed his own kind. We'll climb the tower that the butterfly was sitting on. It's a very long climb. And looking out from here, we can see the bridge we were just fighting on, down below, in the depths of the basin below us. Not the basin, I'm sorry, the forest below us. We find a blacksmith shop in ruins. The blacksmith turned to stone. The Divine Ember. Ember required for weapon ascension. Divine Embers are property of the church and intended for divine blacksmiths. Ascends +5 standard weapon to divine weapon. Divine weapons are used for undead hunting, used against undead and the pawns of necromancers. And we have the Watchtower basement key. Key to the basement of the Watchtower in the Undead Burg. The basement of the Watchtower forms a stone cell. There are rumors of a hero turned hollow who was locked away by a dear friend. For his own good, of course. Someone locked away. For their own good, of course. And we were given a homeward bone to return back to the bonfire from which we rested. Perhaps we will meet that person who has been locked away for their own good. But for now, I'll be spending my souls. Because there is stuff that is available from the Stone Knights. So I'm going to increase my intelligence and faith by 2 each. Bring up my dexterity and my endurance. And we will repair our equipment. And now, I'll meet you guys when I get the first drop from the Knights. And it appears we have our first drop from a Knight. I apologize, I was caught up in fighting other Knights and tree people, but these Knights drop items in this form, where they stay in place. And I've gotten the Stone Great Shield. As you can see, it has a 38 strength requirement, but it's very, very sturdy. Has 80 stability, 100 physical reduction, 90 or 80 magic reduction, 75 fire reduction, 65 lightning reduction. All very good stats. It has a weight of 20 pounds, which is very high. Mossy round great shield used by the guardian of the Darkroot Garden, the Stone Knight. The Stone Knight is a creation of ancient magic, and this shield is imbued with the same power, but it is also extremely heavy. So that's one of them. And we've got another drop. And we get the Stone Greatsword. That's phenomenal. You can see that it is our first weapon that has a completely ridiculous strength requirement of 40, a dex requirement of 10, but you see that it also has split damage. It deals 148 physical and 100 magic. The Stone Knights who guard the Darkroot Garden wield this moss-covered greatsword. The same magic which created the Stone Knights is imbued with the sword. Unleash its power by wielding the sword with 2 hands. And you can see that it also has a weight of 18. And that actually completes the stuff that we need to get from those guys right now. I yet again don't recommend trying to get these items from these guys at this moment. I much more recommend waiting, because as I stated earlier, getting items from enemy drops becomes much easier shortly into the game. But with the structure of how I want to present this playthrough, I want to show you is how you can get stuff as soon as you want, if you choose to put in that time. So, I'll put in the time so you have the choice to. But that actually completes the Darkroot Garden. And you'll see that I did die at one point. Managed to get my souls and everything back, but I did die. But that is okay. We are going to head back to Firelink for a quick detour. I'll meet you guys there. So, back in Firelink Shrine, we find ourselves in the company of Petrus, yet again. However, this time I'd like to purchase some spells. The first one I'd like to get is Homeward. And we'll pick up Seek Guidance while we're here.
Come again.
As you can see, they are very expensive, but worth your time. I will meet you guys back at the bonfire next to Andre. So, back at the bonfire, you'll see this option, Attune Magic. And you can see that there are these 2 spells, and you'll see that we have 1 attunement slot. And you level that up by increasing your attunement to have more slots. So we get equipped Homeward, but we do not have the faith to cast it. Great Miracle cast by advanced clerics. Return to the last bonfire rested at. Would normally link to one's homeland, but only the curse of the undead has distorted its power, redirecting casters to a bonfire, or perhaps for undead, this serves as home. And then Seek Guidance. Miracle of clerics on an undead mission. Display more guidance from other worlds. Guidance facilitates communication between undead, but their value varies greatly. A balance of faith and wisdom is required. So we could equip either of those. But, regardless, with the clanging of Andre down below, I think it's time for a rest. Meet me back here next time. And until then, don't you dare go hollow.